Yo, what's up, guys? This is Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Casty. I'm one of the HCS commentators, and we have another HCS weekly report where today we're going to be breaking down pool play going into the Dreamhack Invitational. It was absolutely incredible tournament that we saw during the qualifier, where we saw Space Station Gaming take the #1 seed. We saw Optic once again ending up outside of the grand finals, in fact, all the way down to top 6. We saw Complexity and many others pull off some amazing upsets, and we ended up here in pool play. We're going to break down every single morsel. Is that every single bit of this pool play, thanks to this amazing graphic that was drawn up to us by my man Blackout, Discord admin of Space Station Gaming. Thank you so much, Blackout. We appreciate you. And let's start off in Pool A, where you have Space Station Gaming, Avengers, Rebellion, and Vortex. Space Station Gaming, Bound, Eco, Penguin, and Stellar. The Avengers, Hus, Neuronical, Precision, and Swish. Rebellion, Carmea, Mental, Rain, and Ryan Noob. And then you have Team, did I say Vortex? I apologize. Vertex, Divinity, Ninjestics, Ryu, and Scoobmeister, who, by the way, went in and did the damn thing over towards ANZ. I will give you a little quick synopsis. We did see Divine Mind, who formerly was to my knowledge, the #1 team in ANZ. Obviously, no longer having Barcode, who was eventually stolen by G2, now playing alongside Native White. Divine Mind did make the grand finals, but it was Scoobmeister, mouse and keyboard, by the way, mouse and keyboard professional player, one of the first we're going to see at this level of competition here in North America. Him and his crew absolutely going off, and there's actually a really cool clip of Scoobmeister going off himself. So guys, make sure you check out his Twitter, SCOOBMEISTR. Vertex Esports making it into Pool A. So, hey, you did your thing over in ANZ, but now what happens when we go into North American competition here? Let's talk about it. So first up, Space Station Gaming going up against the Avengers. I love the Avengers. You guys already know I'm big on the Avengers. We saw Swish Fives find great success over with Team Meta, one time going by TSS early in the year. Eventually, Swish finds his way onto this Avengers roster alongside former teammate Hus, and them alongside Precision and Veronica have been incredible. But we are talking about Space Station Gaming, who arguably aren't as good online as they are on LAN. And by the way, just recently online, they won the qualifier to take the #1 seed. As much as I love Avengers, I don't think they come over the hump on Space Station Gaming. So we're gonna make it. Hey! God. Yeah. Three. I got it. 3. We're gonna say, I'm not gonna say Avengers get swept. We're gonna say they take 1. But I will say that Team Meta, who did have Swish and Hus, they did end up getting swept by, I want to say it was oh my god, they got swept by a team that I feel like they shouldn't have. That I felt like they were actually even better than. And I will say that was a team with Swish and Hassan. I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize, over at Charlotte. But new day, new age. I want to see Avengers take at least 1 on Space Station Gaming. I think they're that damn good. I think they're a team that you have to watch out for. Our Team Avengers. A tighter matchup will be Avengers versus Shopify Rebellion. Shopify Rebellion have been consistently good, have shown signs of greatness. However, I think it's funny because I think this is online. I give Avengers the up on this, 9 times out of 10. I think Avengers beat Rebellion online consistently. However, on LAN, I think there's a lot more X factors, a lot more things that you don't account for when going online. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And I think Ryan Newman Rain kind of have been there, done that. Even I'm sure Mental obviously new to HCS, but he's been around with Call of Duty, and obviously one of the best Gears of War players from what I've heard in its esports history. So I think Mental's kind of been there, done that, even on LAN. I still want to say I believe in Avengers. So I'm gonna say 3-2 Avengers. But honestly, I'm not really that comfortable with it. 3-2. Y'all see this artwork right here? Yeah, I'm killing it right now. I'm gonna say 3-2 Avengers. And no disrespect to Ryan Newman Rain. I think Shopify Rebellion not only can win this, but I think they can even 3-1 Avengers. But I just think Avengers stock has been riding high recently, where Team Rebellion have been a little bit more up and down, in my opinion. So I want to see a little bit more coming out of Shopify Rebellion. Space Station Gaming versus Shopify Rebellion. As much as I have faith in Rebellion potentially beating out Avengers, even though I have Avengers as the favorites in that matchup, I think Space Station Gaming are a tough matchup for Rebellion, and I think this will be a 3-1. I really do. I'm gonna say 3-1. Space Station Gaming. It's not very often that I'll say 3-0s, and I'm going to give Shopify Rebellion the respect they deserve, and I'm going to say they take at least one off SSG, but I think SSG are that damn good. They've been that damn good online recently. They are even better on LAN, and I feel like they've been looking so clean and polished recently that I feel like that will translate when we get to LAN. I feel like the moment that Stellar and Penguin move from, I believe, Arizona and Seattle, I believe, over to Texas, and playing on, I guess, more of like a true connection, this team has been riding high, man. They've just been, like I said, they look clean, they look polished, they look ready for it, man. Avengers going up against Vertex. Shout out to Vertex for making it here. Shout out. I just think I think there's another level of competition that I feel like the ANZ teams don't get an opportunity to scrim these guys. The moment ANZ tries to scrim against anybody from North America, the connection is so bad that you're not getting valuable practice out of it. So in order to become one of the best teams in the world, you have to understand the timing and the meta and what's going on. You have to consistently practice against the best teams in the world. That's one thing that I feel was missing within some of these other regions like ANZ, is that they don't have the opportunity to practice against other teams. So you don't get to see what their strats are, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and what you can do to combat that. So when you're just kind of thrown into the wolves, thrown into the fire, it's a different world. I think it's eye-opening. I'm sure Vertex are great. I believe that, but I think Avengers really are good. Like if you separate the league into tiers, where you have SSG, FaZe, and Optic within tier 1. At one point you had both the natives and G1 and tier 2. Although that's probably going to change up after this event. I think Avengers are in that tier 3, and they're probably towards the upper half of it. So I'm going to say that Avengers we'll say 3-1. Say Avengers 3-1 Vertex, and in the same breath, I'll say SSG 3-0. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Space Station Gaming, top 3 team in the world. What the hell is that? Oh, art skills bet. There we go. I'm gonna say SSG 3-0 here, and then when Shopify Rebellion go up against Vertex, I'll you know what? I'll say the same thing as Avengers 3-1. Because the same way that ANZ doesn't have practice on North American teams is the same way North American teams don't have practice on them. So it's going to be new to them, and maybe a Vertex can catch both Avengers and Rebellion slipping at one point. Maybe they can even catch SSG slipping, because we know SSG maybe take a little bit to kind of warm up within the tournament. They usually are better in the second half of the event. So there's a chance that Vertex can steal a game or two off of either one of these rosters. My only issue is that I personally don't see them taking a series, and I would love for them to prove me wrong. Please be my guest, prove me wrong. But as of right now, I would have Space Station Gaming coming off the 3-0. I have Avengers coming with the 2-1. And Rebellion coming with the 1-2. And then Vertex would be 0-3 in this pool. So what that would mean is that Space Station Gaming would go into the upper bracket, and they would probably play against like a 2 seed, like in Pool B, like in 2 seed in Pool B. Avengers would be in the upper bracket as well, but they have to go against like a 1 seed, so maybe like a phase. And then Rebellion would be in championship bracket, but they would start off in the lower bracket and only having one chance and have to make a crazy run throughout that lower bracket. And that's what I would have in Pool A. Moving on to Pool B. Pool B, we have FaZe Clan. In case you've been living under a rock, Frosty, Renegade, World 2, and Snakebite. FaZe have been really good recently. Couldn't get the win over Space Station Gaming though. Space Station Gaming winning that qualifier phase, getting second place, securing the number 2 seed going to that. Native White, Barcode, Gilkey, McWin, and Tapping Buns. Going to be really exciting to see them. Sentinels, King Nick, Lethal, Spartan, and the newly acquired Suspector, formerly of G1. And then you have 6 Karma. Big ups to 6 Karma for coming out as the number 2 seed within the tournament in in Latin American Mexican region, and coming after the former Tapping Buds' former team, Luminosity and My Little Ponies, which I believe was featuring Magico, who I believe at one point was on Luminosity for a little bit as well. It was 6 Karma Esports that come out upsetting both of these rosters as the number 1 team in Mexico, securing their spot here in Pool B. Good for them, by the way. 6 Karma, in case you don't remember, back in Charlotte, they were 1 round away from making it into championship bracket. They ended up losing out to Proton Gaming, who went on to get top 12 that event. 6 Karma barely missing out and making it to championship bracket. This time they start in pool play, so very good for them. And yeah, let's talk about the series. FaZe versus Native White. I think this one's going to be a tough one, mainly because I feel like FaZe are going to be better, similar Space Station game. I think they're going to be better on LAN, and they've already been very good online. But Native White have also shown that they're a better LAN team as well. Native White coming out of open bracket back at Charlotte, all the way out of open bracket, all the way into pool play, upsetting team after team, and eventually getting top 4 on LAN at Charlotte. Native White are going to be a tough team to judge, for realsies. But I think it's easier for me to say that FaZe beat out Native White, and we'll go. You know what? I'm gonna say 3-2. And for some reason, I have a feeling that Native White are going to surprise FaZe, and they're going to push FaZe, especially if this matchup right here is early in the day. If it's early in the day, I feel like Native White, I don't know, something about this just kind of screams to me that Native White are going to push FaZe the distance, but FaZe are still going to win in that game 5. I don't know what it is. I have a feeling. Then we have Native White going up against Sentinels, and it's getting tough right now. Native White going up against give me Native White. Give me Native White, and you know what? I'm calling it 3-2 again. I'm gonna say Native White over Sentinels. 3-2 for Native White. And it's really tough for me because I feel like Sentinels are going to be a really good land team. Obviously, again, another team that's been there, done that. Like when I think of like Space Station Gaming, Rebellion, Native White, Sentinel, these are teams that are not lacking land experience whatsoever, and most importantly, not lacking land success. You know, like there's a lot of teams that have been there. There's a lot of teams who haven't, but there's even fewer that have been to land and have found success. And I think they're the ones who just understand how to win on land, understand the intangibles, the X factors. You know, there's so many things that we probably don't even know about that become a factor. Like I don't know, did you eat a good breakfast? Did you eat too heavy? Are you sluggish? Like I don't like are you in a decent shape? You know, like someone like me, like I'm out of shape. Like these are long days. They get tiring. You know, like are you gonna crash towards the end of the day? Are you still gonna have that energy? Are you just relying on like energy drinks like Red Bulls or Monsters, or of course G Fuel? Use code YNOT for 20% off of your order. What like are you built to go the long run? Because these are long days, and I feel like I always like teams that have not only been to land, have that experience, but also have found success on land, because I feel like they know what they need to do. They understand their routine in order to be successful. With that being said, I think both Sentinels and Native White have that. And something's making me lean over towards Native White. Despite the fact that Sentinels have been playing teams like Optic very well. I got Native White 3-2. FaZe versus Sentinels. I mean, you got to be excited about that matchup. You know, watching Lethal go up against this former team, like that, storylines like that, like just kind of sell themselves. Like I actually hope that if there is a number 1 seed going against number 3 seed, I'm looking at Optic and Quadra could be very good. Native Red and Navi could be decent. Space Station Rebellion could be good, but I feel like I would love to have them have FaZe and Sentinels on the main stage and have that being casted, because I feel like the storyline is there. Lethal going against his former team, you got to have your eyes on that. Even though Optic and Quadra could be really fun to watch too. With that being said, I can see what would Sentinels take this to Game 5, but I would have 2 Game 5s in there. So let's go 3-1 FaZe over Sentinels 3-1. I mean, hey, FaZe is number 2 team in the world. You know? Like when I always talk about there being levels to this, and I feel like when you think of the tier 1 teams, you think of FaZe, think of Optic. Obviously for a while, Space Station Gaming was kind of like tier 1.5, because I felt like FaZe and Optic were like so far ahead at one point in time, but over the last couple of weeks, Space Station Gaming have been running things, including again winning that qualifier. So I think tier 1 right now legitimately has all 3 teams: Space Station, FaZe, and Optic. Native White going up against 6 Karma. I'm looking at some of these 4 seeds, and not to like go too far into the future. I'm looking at some of these 4 seeds, and I'm like, who has the best chance of beating out a number 2, a number 3, or even a number 1 seed? And I feel like 6 Karma. Like I apologize, I'm probably to pronounce this wrong. I like Awu Ababs. I like them a lot. But I like Navi more than them, and Complexity have been crazy. Unless Complexity completely crap the bed on land, which I don't see that happening. Even though I like this team, I think they're in a tough bracket. And same thing for Jay Lings. That's a Z. Oh, that's supposed to be a Z. Damn it, Blackout. Either way, just kidding, Blackout. Love you. Jay, I like Jay Lings a lot, but again, really tough bracket. If there is a chance that a number 4 seed can upset number 3 or number 2, I think it's going to be 6 Karma. Could they beat out Native White? They could. Could they beat out Sentinels? They could. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying they can. But I'm not feeling that risky. 3-1, 3-0. And 3-1. I don't remember if I actually went over the roster for 6 Karma, but it's Acid, Lure, Sep Stars, and Strike, in case I didn't. The team that almost upset Proton Gaming to make it into champ bracket. I couldn't remember if I actually went. I remember going over the first 3 rosters. I couldn't remember if I went over the 4th. But once again, kind of a boring storyline here, where the number 1 seed. What's that? Gosh. No, it ain't much better, but 3-0. Native White 2-1. Sentinels 1-2. And 6 Karma 0-3. So far, we've been kind of boring here. So far, we have the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 in every single one of them. Let's mix things. We're gonna mix things up here in Pool C. Optic Gaming go 0-3. Okay, I'll mix it up that much. Okay, but we'll mix it. We're gonna mix it up a little bit here. Optic Gaming G1 Quadrant and J Lings. In case you guys don't know, Optic Gaming number 1 in HCS points. However, not first place or not first seed going into Dreamhack Dallas. Optic Gaming APG, Formal, Lucid, and Trippy. G1 Boo Boo Doo Falcated Sab and the newly acquired Suppressed, formerly of Complexity. Quadrant coming out. You have Legend. I don't think it's actually Chick. I think the T is sound, so it might be Legend Chick, Sika, not Sika, and SLG. I believe I was pronouncing that wrong before. I was saying Sika, like sicker than your average, but it's I believe it's pronounced Sika. And that's your quadrant roster. Back at Charlotte, I believe it was Chick that wasn't able to make it, so 2 Foxy had to sub in for the 4 stack. And from what I heard that Quadrant continued to call out in French, which is their normal language that they speak when they have their 4 stack. And I believe they continued to call that in French, and 2 Foxy just kind of like tried to fill in the gaps, even though I'm not sure if 2 Foxy speaks French. This is from what I heard from the grapevine. But now Quadrant coming in with their full roster, which, by the way, I think they did really good at Charlotte with the sub. But now I want to see what they look like with their full roster. And they have another team in J Lings, Clonely, Respectful, Septic, and 2 Fox, who I believe was the player that subbed in for Quadrant. So it'll be fun to see the sub and the former team in the same exact pool together. Optic versus G1. I said I was gonna mix things up here, but I'm not gonna mix up with the number 1 seed or who the number 1 HCS point, not number 1 seed. Excuse me. In Optic Gaming, I think Optic are the best. The best team in the world. I think that G1 have historically struggled against Optic Gaming, which so have many teams. I'm gonna say Optic win this, and we'll even say yeah, 3-1. Let's go 3-1. I almost wanted to say goes to game 5, but let's go 3-1. G1 versus Quadrant. I said I was gonna mix things up a little bit. Let's mix it up. Let's say Quadrant win this out. Let's say this is a 2-3, and we'll say Quadrant come out. We gotta mix up. I can't go every single poll where the number 1 seed comes out number 1, number 2 seed comes out number 2. Like, we gotta mix things up a little bit. We're gonna say the number 3 seed Quadrant beat out the number 2 seed in G1. And Quadrant going against Optic Game. I think that's going to be a lot better than people think. Like, people are probably overlooking Quadrant, which you shouldn't. Quadrant are freaking good. So people might think I'm crazy by saying that Quadrant are able to beat out G1, but let's be honest, G1 are good. You don't have to tell me they're good. I said that they were the number 4 team in the world going into Charlotte, and then at one point I said they were going to surpass SSG, the number 3 team in the world. I was huge on G1. But we haven't seen that level of eliteness. We haven't seen them take the step into that tier 1 category, and I think Quadrant are damn good. Maybe you have Quadrant like that tier 3, when it comes to like the entire world. But I don't know. I think there'll be an argument to made that maybe G1 also are in that tier 3. They're closer than people think. And I think Quadrant come up with the 3-2, and maybe Chick hits another back-to-back overkill on Gamers First, like they did back in what was that, Raleigh 2021, I think it was. That could be really funny. Optic Gaming going up against Quadrant. You know what? I'm feeling good about Quadrant. I don't know. We'll say Optic win it, but Quadrant take it to a game 5. Optic win it, but Quadrant take it to a game 5. G1 against J Lings. I have G1 winning this out. Optic versus J Lings. I have Optic winning that out, and Quadrant do it well. I like J Lings, I really do, but I think they're in a tough pool. So we'll say G1 3-1, Optic 3-0. And Quadrant, I'm gonna cheat here. Oh, doesn't have it. Quadrant matchup against J Lings. Let's see. I'm gonna cheat here. See if they matched up. No, I don't want. Quadrant 3-0. I don't think they actually matched up against each other. Maybe in pool play. I just want to see. I want to see if I can cheat this one out. Yep, they did match up against each other. Oh, I get to cheat. Let's go. And it looks like it was a 3-1, so I'm going to copy that. I get to cheat a little bit. So that leaves Optic with a 3-0 record. That leaves G1 1-2, Quadrant 2-1, and sadly J Lings 0-3. I know I'm not gonna make any fans with the number 4 seeds coming in here, because I think 6 Karma had the best chance of maybe upsetting number 3 or number 2 seed. But yeah, see here, Pool D. Complexity is that's the big question mark right now. Pool D, you have Native Red, Druck, Manny, Soul Snipe, and Talik. You have Complexity, Psycho, Collect, Monster, and Tusk. Team Navi coming in with Jimbo, Snaky, Snipe, Drone, and Z Mighties, or just Mighties. And then, guys, I come with this one. Owo Ababs, Glory, Lumizer, Flux, and Mose coming in. Right now, Complexity is the biggest question mark, honestly, because I feel like Complexity can come out as your number 1 seed. They can potentially catch Native Red slipping. They've beaten the likes of Optic twice now. They've taken FaZe the distance multiple times. In fact, I believe they even beat FaZe and taken them to game 7s, even in matchups where they didn't beat them, they took them to game 7. Even in scrims, they won 6 out of 12 games. Complexity are literally the biggest question mark going on to LAN. Will they be the same team that we've seen recently, or will they, take a step back and not find the same success? This is where they're going to be tested. I think this is a great test for them. And by the way, the fact that Native Red and Complexity on the same seed as the same pool is actually really fun. I don't think Native Red and Complexity like each other very much. I think there's gonna be a nice little rivalry there. I'm gonna say Native Red been there, done that on LAN, and I'm gonna say Native Red come out with the win over Complexity. I think Complexity is gonna be good. In fact, I think Complexity will come out as the number 2 seed. However, I think Native Red they just have that gear that they just like kind of snap into, and we didn't get to see Native Red fully loaded at Charlotte because Druck couldn't to make it to the event. So they did have a substitute in Diagram. Very good player, but now Native Red should have their full roster. And if they do, watch out for Native Red. Watch out for Native Red. Sorry about that. 3-1. This is where things get really confusing because, again, Na'Vi are a very good LAN team. Complexity have shown success on LAN, you know, but we still have question marks. And I would say this is tougher than people may think. I'm gonna say that we're gonna see a very good Complexity, the same Complexity that we've been seeing online recently. I think that will translate to LAN, and I'm gonna say Complexity beat out Na'Vi. However, can't ignore the fact that Na'Vi are even better on LAN than they are online, and they're gonna feel very comfortable in the matchup. I'm gonna say Complexity win this out, and we'll say another 3-1. I'm gonna say Native Red beat out Na'Vi. What the? Sorry about that. I like Native Red a lot. But you know, I'm feeling so confident about Na'Vi. I'm gonna say that Na'Vi go the distance with Native Red. Let's say 3-2. Let's mix it up a little bit. I like Na'Vi a lot. I like Na'Vi within this matchup. I think they play a totally different game than Native Red, and that could throw them off. It also could end up being a 3-0 for Native Red, honestly. But give me Na'Vi looking good in this matchup against Native Red, and we'll say that Na'Vi taking the game 5, but don't quite come up with the win. I'm gonna say the Abobs. I can't say that full name. I don't know what that name is. The Abobs do well against Complexity. However, again, like I said, I think we're going to see a very similar Complexity on LAN that we do online. So I'm still going with them 3-1. I'm going to go Native Red 3-1. And I'm going to say that Na'Vi and Abobs, they have to have matched up before, right? Yeah, number 2, number 3 seeds. So let's see what that looked like. Ooh. Okay, well, hold on. The Bobs took Na'Vi to a game 5. So don't sleep on the Bobs. You know what? Let's copy that. But man, that's really good for them. I almost want to like mix things up a little bit now that I know that the Bobs took Na'Vi to a game 5. I almost want to say to take like either Complexity or Native Red to a game 5 as well. Why not? But I'm not gonna go too crazy with this. We'll say Native Red come up as your number 1 seed still. We'll say Complexity 2-1, Na'Vi 1-2, and the Bobs 0-3. So I guess I'm not a believer in number 4 seed. Although I will say I love to be proven wrong. I love an underdog story. So show me a 4 seed that can come into any one of these pools and really kind of, you know, show their ass, you know, really come out and show what they're really made of. I would be excited to see any one of that. I think 6 Karma, like I said, have the best chance. Now that I'm seeing that the Bobs took Na'Vi to a game 5, maybe Bobs upset Na'Vi. Who knows? I just think J-Lings are in a really tough pool, and the same for Vertex. Like they're in a tough pool, but we'll see what happens. And guys, that is your HCS weekly report. Yeah, the Sharks are swimming in these pools in DreamHack, and yeah, guys, you're not gonna want to miss any bit of this action. So make sure, I think it's June 2nd to June 4th on the official dates, whatever that weekend is, the first weekend of June, and make sure you guys are ready because it's gonna be exciting. All right, guys, peace out.